We were going to have a video for you guys, but I figured why not just go live. There's a lot of craziness going on right now, and I want to make sure that we kind of have just a quick half hour or so. I'm going to talk with you guys, let you guys know what's going on. We have a lot going on in our space right now, and kind of bring you guys up to speed with that, and then talk with some people. I have a lot of people sending me messages tonight and today that are a lot of concern. They see the prices, they see large dips in the market. There's a lot of issues right now in the space when it comes to confidence. You know, is Ethereum going to switch? That kind of stuff. You know, with the merge is, you know, there's all the memes from ETH Denver. You got, you know, Russia in the news with creating all kinds of drama with what's going on there, and you just got a really down market right now. So I wanted to have a talk with you guys because I know a lot of people freak out during times like this, and I'm here to calm you, my dudes. Just take a breath and you know, understand kind of the bigger things at play. So let's have a quick live stream and just talk through that. I'll tell you guys what goes through my mind and what I go through in prep for these kind of situations. So I see folks coming in. Welcome. Cold even in Calgary. We're about to get a ton of snow here. So it's kind of messing our plans up a little. To be honest with you, we're looking to move this studio by the end of this week, and it looks like we're going to slip it into the weekend, if not the beginning of next week, to do that. So we'll see. Well, I mean, there's a lot of posturing right now in the space when it comes to the geopolitical space, and it's having an adverse effect on both markets. It's having an adverse effect on confidence. And if you really think about what really ebb and flows this stuff, you know that the crypto in general, stocks, all of this stuff looks at certainty, risk, and you know, assumptions that things could happen, and the market reacts. So if you have a plan and you were mining and you had a plan and now you're like, oh, profitability is down in that, you got to look at a couple indicators out there. You look at what's the hash rate, is people shutting down stuff, how's your yields looking, and you know, none of this is a short term. If you're into mining, it's not, you can't let it ebb and flow with the current price dips. You got to look at it like you're getting yield, and that yield may change as more people mine, you get less. As less people mine, you get more. And you look at that longer term situation. And like with our build right now, we're building the service center. We're expanding a much larger farm. Anybody that's been following us on Twitter saw the substation. So we're going to get 5 megawatts from that substation and put together some large containers. That you know, the current market status, current geopolitical stuff doesn't stop that, right? I mean, you got to look at what the plan is and what you can control, and the things that you can't control but influence, right? Is, you know, you can put some effort to that. Call your congressperson, call and write a letter to somebody to say, you know, hey, I don't like what's going on, but give somebody a perspective. But you'll feel a lot better if you focus on the things you can control, if you personally control, which is your sphere of influence. The things I work on right now in this type of a situation is things that I know I can maintain and update, control in general. Like I should have these GPUs right here in a machine right now. I can control that. You know, if crypto and the down cycle guy has you down, look at quick wins. Look at quick wins personally, what you can do. Like, you know, cleaning something, taking a wife out, something like that. Like, just take your mind off of it. Know that the reason what got you in this space, the innovation, the opportunity, the growth, none of those fundamentals have changed, right? People are still building. People are still looking for the future in and around the crypto space. So the ebb and flow of that market is, trying to shake you out. So just be conscious of that. That, people get lost in that because they get emotional. So don't get emotional in it. Sleep on it. I've always told people, I'll get random calls. This was like through 2016 through, 2016 had a dip. Before that, 2014, like you couldn't mine like a Litecoin anymore. And it was going to ASICs, and people were like, there's nothing to mine for GPUs. This is crap. It's all GPU mining's dead. Same thing with Ethereum right now. Oh, the merge is coming. Prices are down. Geopolitical things screwed everything up. Know what the plan is. And if you're shaking out, sleep on it. Like, just sleep on it. Like I tell my friends are like, I had some friends reach out to me at the height of 2017 saying, hey, I'm finally going to buy crypto. Congratulations, you're buying the top. Anytime you buy at all-time high is always scary to me, because it's like, think about people, and if you've been through at least one cycle, think of your friends and your family that have reached out to you on the upper time. And you're like, now they finally want to buy. Prices are at all-time high. What could go wrong? And you're like, well, it's nice to have you. Congratulations, you're buying. And then you're scared for them. You're scared for them because they're buying the top. But nobody right now, like when you look at the market right now as the way it is today, people are fearful. They don't want to buy it. They don't want to catch a falling knife. When days like today are some of the best times. And again, this is not financial advice. This is just what I have done and what friends have done, and what the reality of this very centrical up and down market with crypto has been, is that at times like this, when it's way down, 30%, 40%, 55% for some, and then some other tokens. I'm talking the main tokens right now, the ones that actually have development behind them. Nobody wants to have that conversation with their family or friends like, hey, this is the time. The last few days I've been buying it all the way down. I'm going to continue to buy it as it goes down, right? More yield for my money every time. Having these conversations, like everybody wants to talk the hype cycle, but nobody wants to get on a live stream when it's down like this. And I was like, I'm going to do a live stream today, because these are the times that I'm literally sending people, friends and family, a message like, hey, you've been sitting on the fence. Today's a great day. It's $36,000 Bitcoin price. Hasn't been that way since it actually went down in July timeframe last year. It got down that low for a little bit. But this is the time that I'm like, hey, that time when you called me and it was 63,000 and you were mad that you didn't buy it at 59 and it went to 69, you're like, I'm a genius. And it went back down to 64 and you're like, I've already lost money. Or 62. Well, guess what? It's 36. It's half that. Like, if the game is stacking sats, you look for days like this because it shook out somebody. It shook out the market some to get you cheaper coin. And that's the things I think about. Like, legitimately, I'm not telling you to go out there and, drop everything to buy Bitcoin. I'm not sitting there showing you charts and Bollinger Bands or any of that. I'm just looking at the ebb and flow of the market, and that it's pulled back half of what the all-time high was, at least on Bitcoin. And I look at hash rates. Are hash rates dropping? Hash rates run as a like a rolling wave. So if price sat here at 36,000, see, it's still very profitable mine. Ethereum right now, mostly up to 10 cents per kilowatt. You need to have about 1.4 petahash before it really starts affecting the ETH price, when it starts to create an equilibrium on that, because the ETH price being what it is. Unless ETH price drops down to like $1,900, $1,800 price point, then you're going to start to see kind of break-even prices. And break-even is when you're going to finally start to see the hash rate plateau. So you're going to see a continuation of growth on the hash rate until it plateaus, until you're around 10 cents per kilowatt for the most efficient card out there if you're mining Ethereum. Bitcoin, you're going to see it way exceed the home rates because the larger farms have more competitive pricing when it comes to power. So most can mine all the way down to like $6,000 to $7,000 Bitcoin price easily with the ops cost. If you just look at all in price on like kilowatt per hour, you can mine all the way down to like $4,000 Bitcoin price, $5,000 Bitcoin price. So, I wanted to have a quick stream with you guys. I mean, the amount of calls I've gotten at least 2 calls today that I know were for this particular reason. I did not take a couple calls that I knew were probably for the market being way down and people panicking. And I was like, I think we need to get on and just, how do I deal with, short-term volatility down to, 50%, 60% lows of all-time high. And then what's it look like? And the first check I look at is, did anything fundamentally change? First question. Did anything fundamentally change? Or is this just, the speculation going up and down? Nothing's physically changed. Bitcoin hasn't been broken. It hasn't had any kind of issues like that. If anything, there's more expansion. There's massive amounts of teams. There's huge amounts of adoptions all over the world. Adoption across the world. Okay, that's good. Anything else change? Anything else that would cause it? Well, there's geopolitical issues that shake out some people. There's panic selling that happens. People that sit there and flip open every day and look at their Coinbase and see that number go down, and then they're just like, stop the bleeding them out, and then they sell. I've had family members do that, where they're real proud when it goes way up, and then they'll be the first to sell it when it's halfway down. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Don't do that. And then it drops a little more, and they're like, hey, I got out, at least got some of my money back. And I'm like, now take that money and buy it back for you can at least get some of your yield back, right? So, you got to look at the basics. You got to look at the fundamentals. And then you start to get inspired of like, wait a minute here, I can buy it for half off. When I was super excited when it was 55,000 raising to 60, and I bought more, and everybody was just stacking sats and buying more and showing all their Twitter things of how they're buying at 55 and 60,000. I want to see 55. I want to see $36,000 buys. I want to see that, right? That's the kind of stuff that we're looking at, right? Of show me when it's the lowest point that you're in there and you're just not buying the hype, right? Because the fundamentals of what we're doing, what this space does, and where things are going to go when it comes to cryptocurrency, being a fundamental paradigm shift of technology, it's just, in my opinion, I'm not telling you that it's of my time in this space. I look at it as this is inevitable that it's going to be the foundation when it comes to core value of what we consider as value. Because you have all these participants upholding the security of it, because not any one country can shut it down, because it has the immutability for that in a world that is a lot of fake news. So that's its fundamentals. That hasn't changed. So when I look at $36,000 price point, doesn't freak me out. Makes me want to call people and say, hey, this is the opportunity you're looking for when you were trying to buy it at 55,000. Not, buy it on the, when it recovers and like things happen and we're looking at 36 and we're like, hey, we're back up to 44. Haha, that was a short-lived, dip. Oh, darn. And it's like nobody bought, but guess what? Somebody did to push it back up to 45, 46. So, just understand those dynamics. Understand when you're watching and listening to people of what they're telling you and why they're telling you it. And then, take that internally and see if it fits your mold. Also, sidebar, for the folks that are GPU miners, Start looking at Facebook Marketplace. If this holds over like the next week or so at this price point, there's going to be some capitulation because there's a lot of fair weather folks that kind of mine for a little bit and don't feel comfortable with it, and it's not even that they do it for a little bit and they're like, oh, this isn't getting the profit I want. Some folks just realize it's hard. I mean, I picked up some GPUs recently from a person that's local, and they're just like, man, I tried, it wasn't for me. There's just too much to it. Didn't understand it. Watched a lot of hours of videos of people trying to show me how to do it, and it just wasn't for me. And, I was able to pick up some GPUs. And he picked them up secondhand too. So it wasn't even like it was a bad deal. It was like a good deal, and he got a good deal and paid it forward. So if you're looking for GPUs, this is also a time to start looking. So you got to look at the positive. We have a couple hundred people in here. The main pieces of this is if you're down and you're looking at a market, do something with the things that you can control, stuff that's in your realm that you can control. Like tonight, if it wasn't my daughter's birthday, which is they're coming back from volleyball, and we're going to go out. But after that, I'm going to build a rig because I have some extra GPU sitting here, and they should be setting in a rig. I can control that, and it feels accomplished once that's done. You feel better. So take the things around you that you can control and get some quick wins and get those spirits up when you have downtime like this. So don't let it beat you up is the main theme of tonight's little stream. I'm going to take some questions from anytime I like to do a live stream, I'll take some questions and then we'll wrap this one up. I'm trying to keep this one to a half hour. Just trying to give you guys some spirit uplift on a down day. What cards are you looking for in the future? Right now, all we have been looking at and getting, Infinity Arts, good question, has been the Ampere 4000s and 5000s. I do want to try the 4500 out. I have not. I have not tried also the the A2000. I haven't got one of those yet either. And then on the AMD side, the BC 160s. The BC, which they call the blockchain 160s. See if you guys got any others. Intel releases GPU desktop second quarter this year. GPU prices will be down a lot once those cards aren't ass. So I think the GPUs, I think there's some stuff that's been leaked, and I think their top card right now competes with like the 3070. We'll see if they're using, GDDR6, and if it's at the same bus width, then it should be a 60 mega hash card for the Intel GPUs, the top end GPUs. And then it comes down to, is their power going to be better or comparable? And I don't know. They just released their ASIC and it was not good. So the BMZ1 chip was 40 tera. So their ASIC, their notional ASIC that they had put out, or their test ASIC was 40 terahash for 3,600 watts. That's not good. So a S19J Pro, even the 100 terahash versions are 3,068 watts for 100 terahash. So it's not a very good thing. So the BMZ2 chip, the 5 nanometer chip that's supposed to come out later this year, we'll see if it improves it a lot. But it would have to improve it like if it did it an entire order of magnitude, like 1x, it would go to 80 terahash at, let's say, the same wattage. That's still not good. So it needs to, if it doubled its amount of terahash for the same wattage, it's still not in competition with Bitmain. It would have to triple it, really, to be the same efficiency. And tripling it would be, 120 terahash at still 3,600 watts, when you can still get some units from Bitmain at 3,200 watts at 110 terahash. So I think Intel's got some. This is their first one, so they got some time. You still into RVN? Yes, I still am mining RVN. Absolutely. We're actually looking at we were going to have an event this week, Thursday, where we had an Eventbrite and everything. This was an in-person thing, and we had to cancel that event because we have large snowstorm coming here. So we're going to have like most likely 3 to 5 inches of snow, but it's looking like between the 2 days, 6 to 10 inches of snow, which in the St. Louis area will shut it down. So I didn't want a whole bunch of people stranded in St. Louis. So we moved that live event that you guys could come to until next month. And you guys will see that out here shortly. We'll put out the Eventbrite for that. Hopefully we can have it lifted a little and not have just 100 people come to it. We can have a couple hundred people come to it. So we'll see. Do you have any use for server cases for GPUs? Do you have or use any server cases? We have a couple different types that we've shown on the channel, from the Roswell or the gray matter cases. They're fine. Most of the stuff we do, though, is open air. See here. Did you see the new LHR unlocker? I have not. Yeah, we're going to, if you guys haven't been following, this is a shameless plug to follow us on Twitter. We have been live updating as much as possible the build out for our service center. So, I mean, the floors are laid, the cabinets are going in, the trim is in, it's been painted. Like, we're right at the edge of moving this studio and then having the expansion of the services that we'll provide from GPU and ASIC repair. And then more will be coming around that on how to interact with us with that. So reading some of your guys' questions right now. Are you dual mining ETH TON or ETH Alpha? No, we are not dual mining. Why are NVIDIA cards running hotter than before? Is it the ETH algo? They have massive cooling. So it depends how long you've had those cards. Like, I have some 1070s that run a lot hotter, and it was because the thermal paste was giving up. So we had to go and repaste them, and now they run great. So if it's an older card, it might be your thermal paste giving up and needing to replace that. What's my opinion on dual mining? I actually don't do it. The last time we used to dual mine both Saya and Decred between the two back in the day, and it was pretty hard on the cards. Like, we had to run the GPUs. It was running on 100%, and the fans were pegged at 100%, and it ended up not being worth it. In the short term, it might be worth it for folks trying to get a quicker ROI, but you're doing it at the expense of running your card like full tilt, everything all in. And it's, unless you have exceptional cooling to where you don't have to run your fans at 100%, you're just going to nuke your fans in about 6 to 8 months. That's just the reality. If you run any fan for like 8 months, almost a year, the bearings give out on most of these cards, and then you're going to be replacing fans. That's the main reason. But again, I mean, some folks will absolutely run that, and it's a good, quick, short-term profit if you're dumping the other coin. But yeah, it was more long-term yield gain for us. I mean, it's not going to hurt the card. It's more of just, think of it, you got to look at it this way. Like, people are like, oh, dual mining burns up the GPU. It doesn't burn up the GPU. The GPU is made to run. It's made to run hot. It's made to run hot for a very, very long time. We had GPUs that were running at 80C from 2016 to current, and they still run fine, and they don't artifact or anything. They run fine. They're made to run that long. The issue is you start charting your fans as like tires on a car. So you're just putting a lot more wear and tear on it, and you're just going to burn them up. I guess it would be more like brakes. Like, eventually you're going to have to replace them. That's what it comes down to with if you're dual mining and your card is having to run at 100% fans. Like, the Sapphire Mining Edition cards we have that we ran at 30% fans, the fans are perfectly fine. We haven't had to replace those, and those have been running since 2016. So we're talking 8 years, or no, Yeah, 6 years. 6 years, not 8. I'm thinking of the R9 390s that I have that now is at 8 years. And the fans still work because we're not taxing them at 100%. So if you tax the cards at 100% fan speed, you're just going to replace fans. You're not going to hurt the card. I mean, you might overheat the card if the fans go out and then the card shuts down and then you have to go replace the fans. But what ends up burning up your cards is if you go too high on your memory frequencies and you overclock the memory. Like most of the time we undervolt everything. So we're just starving it of the voltages, which just makes the card either stable or unstable. There is a way, which I don't recommend, to where you can bump the amount of frequency to your like GPU memory, and you can bump your frequency up on your GPU core and then try to cool it better, and you'll actually get a much higher output. I personally don't show that anymore because that will kill your card. You'll end up causing some kind of micro fracture in your PCB and end up having an issue. But if you overvolt and give it a lot of juice, and then you can kind of keep it cool with 100% fans and maybe an ancillary fan, you can actually get another, maybe sometimes 10% output on your card. And then you'll be looking like you're breaking records. And like I've had a 5700 at 59 mega hash before. Well, people are like, how do you get 59 mega hash out of a 5700? You overvolt it. And if you overvolt it on the memory, you'll get there. Don't recommend it because eventually you'll probably burn it up. And that was my lead suspicion when it came to like the Radeon 7s is from AMD themselves. When you really look at what they had going on there and the voltages that were run into those HBM2 chips, why the frequency was way down, the voltages were pretty high. And I think that's why there was such a high fail rate, is that it just ended up breaking the card. It broke the chips. And they were designed to run fast, and they were designed to provide, 100 mega hash in 2019, when those cards came out. I think it was 2018 when Radeon 7s came out at 100 mega hash, right? This was 2 years 2 years before, almost 3 years before the RTX 3000 series. And everybody's like, oh, the 3080 does 100 mega hash. I'm like, dude, we were doing that 3 years ago. What? But we were burning cards up too. So most of the stuff is undervolt. So if you undervolt and you don't feed it a ton of power, like your longevity on is probably running better and has a higher confidence rate than if you ran it in a gaming rig running full tilt on stock settings, running stock voltages. Not undervolting it, so it's getting the 1.275 millivolts, and it's cooking the card when you're playing a video game, but you're not paying attention. You don't care as long as you get the frame rates, bro. But like miners, undervolting, it'll be fine. It's just you end up using the fans. You'll burn up your fans over time. There you go. Joseph says he's got 3 times XFX 5700 raw 2s that do 59.5. Yeah, you got them cooking, bro. All right, my dudes, it's 28 minutes. We're just going to try to keep this a quick 30. Tomorrow we'll have maybe either a snip of this or we'll get another video out. I got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. We're trying to get a few things done before this winter storm. Again, follow us on there on Twitter. You'll see some updates. And when we get into that new location, we'll give you guys information on if you actually need things repaired and stuff. That's part of what we're doing with the new location. And I'm trying to work with suppliers right now to get a supply of extra fans and all the things that miners that are doing GPU mining will have. So we'll have thermal paste, we'll have thermal pads of all different sizes. We're going to actually caliper out all the different GPUs we have. We're over 100 unique GPUs in our collection. And what I'm trying to do with some of the guys is measure out all the different thermal pads for all these different types of GPUs. We have a table for when you guys are trying to order these type of things. You guys know what thermal pads to replace on something like the RX series. And then we'll have stock of that for you guys to be able to order through our store and all that kind of stuff. So it's very specialized, very miner centric. So it's miner centric stuff. And then it's based here in the US for the US folks. You'll have quicker access than having to wait for, I mean, Amazon's been pretty good, but having to wait for, the specialty stuff. So that's the service center. And then you guys will start to see our build out of the first 5 megawatts of our Bitcoin mine. So we're working hard on that too. So the content will not stop. There's so much more content that we're going to bring to you guys from a structure standpoint on not just crypto, but we're going to get into smart contracts and some of the other stuff to help you guys related to like the development side. I'm trying to bring some of the development stuff to you guys too. So you developers out there, we're going to bring some good content for you guys. And again, live stream, not just like you hit the channel.